This is a mock interview conducted by Forum IAS Academy at New Delhi. The interview panel includes eminent academicians, retired bureaucrats, and other luminaries. The objective of the program is to acquaint the candidate with the format and expectations of the personality test conducted by UPSC.
So you are from Mandsaur,
Yes,
MP.
Yes, sir.
What was its old name?
Sir, it was earlier called Dashpur.
Daspur means there were Daspura.
Yes, 10
But
villages.
what is that? Fort.
No, sir, 10 different villages.
10 different villages. Okay. And that's why.
Yes, sir.
And Mura. What is Mura?
Mohora.
There is Mandsaur. How Daspura is one. But Mohra is also part of that word is there. Mohor.
Sorry, sir, I am not able to recall right now.
Okay. What for it is famous?
So, Mandsaur is famous for Pashupatinath temple for religious reasons. Environmental perspective, it is famous for Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary.
Yes.
And it is also famous for opium cultivation.
Why it is opium?
So, one of the few districts in the country where legal opium production is allowed. So, Mandsaur, because of its agroclimatic suitability, it is suitable for opium production along with nearby regions like Pratapgarh of Rajasthan and Ratlam, Neemach.
So they are famous for. What for it is used in general other than?
So, the major use for legal opium production is for pharmaceutical industry. Mainly
for
drugs
the-
like morphine.
As a medicine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. There is Sun temple also in Mandsaur.
Sun temple.
Sun temple is also there.
No, sir.
ABC. Okay. So MP is famous and not only for opium but it is for Tendu leaves. MP.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But on the one hand, we say Tendu BD is injurious to health. Here, even what to say of just taking right of a people from Tendu leaves collection, even for BD, then the government changes. How do you say about this contradiction?
So the contradiction is definitely there, and not only for BD, but all such substances in entire tobacco industry, it is in there, and even in alcohol industry. But as livelihood of large number of tribals is dependent on Tendu leaves collection, and they have been traditionally doing it from centuries. So because they are the most socio-economic backward community in MP, so definitely Tendu leaf collection must be for their favor. It must be there. And because the demand for tobacco in BD is there, so
can we make useful use of BD also? As we take tea.
yes, sir.
Tea is also not that good. Now we are taking green tea, other tea type of tea. Can we make usefulness of the BD also?
Sir, as far as I am aware, I don't think so, sir.
Yes. We should not think even.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. And we have Tendu. What are other major trees in Madhya Pradesh?
Sir, major tree in Madhya Pradesh is Tectona grandis, teak tree. Apart from that, Shorea robusta, which is sal tree. And if we look from importance of non-timber forest produce, then Amla, Emblica officinalis is also very important. There is one Chironji tree also. That is also very important in Madhya Pradesh.
And Harada Bheda, they are very important, and Harada
Yes,
Bheda of MP are famous worldwide.
yes, sir.
So that's why Trifla product of MP
Yes, sir.
has no comparisons.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. We have tribals over there,
Yes, sir.
and those tribals they have got rights through FRA.
Yes, sir.
Do we cultivate that land also, which they are getting?
Sir, it depends on the communities. So, the FRA recognizes only the existing rights which are there. So, tribals have been living there and exercising their rights, including cultivation also in some cases. But FRA only makes it legal so that there is no contradiction with the other forest acts. So, in some cases there is cultivation, but in most of the cases, it is for collection of this non-timber forest produce and livestock.
We are taking forest products as a minor forest products from the forest areas.
Yes, sir.
But when it goes to the international market, they say that no, we require EcoCert or certification. Do you think that it is required? It is forest area. Forest area is organic in nature, and we should not think that it should be tested for organic certification. What do you think?
Sir, I believe that definitely we have vast natural resources in our forest, especially the non-timber forest produce, and even they have medicinal values. But I believe that we should be compliant to the such certificates, organic certificates as well, sir, because in our international market, we can have branding only when there is trust. So for them, the consumers,
So
they
we should have some
Yes.
certification even
Yes,
if
sir.
we are to fetch more prices from the national or international markets.
Yes, sir, definitely,
Right?
sir.
Yeah, okay. We have forest
Yes, sir.
and we have wildlife. What do you think that always say this is wildlife area? Why do we say that this is a forest area having wildlife?
Pardon, sir, I am not.
My question is, if you have read some of the textbook for forestry, your subject is forestry.
Yes, sir.
This is a forest area. This is a wildlife area. But how do we say that that is a wildlife area? In forest also there is wildlife, and in wildlife area there is a forest. So why do we say that it is a forest area having a wildlife? Why shouldn't we use that term?
Yes. Sir, I believe it is because we have technically defined forest as land which are more than 1 hectare and having more than 10% of canopy density. So not all wildlife is in such kind of forest areas. Many wildlife reside in open areas also, less than 10% canopy density.
It is the concentration of wildlife
Yes,
in a particular patch in the forest area. So that's why it is called forest wildlife.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you know something about core areas and buffer areas. What is that?
Yes, sir. Sir, we have tiger reserves for conservation of tiger. And for tiger reserves, the Wildlife Protection Act clearly provides for 2 types of areas. Where one is critically important habitat of tigers. So they are core areas which are inviolate, and human presence and activities are highly restricted. Except for surveys and research, maybe some activities may be allowed, and tourism to a certain extent. But then there are buffer areas which we technically call multiple use areas, where we can allow different human activities, although our stress in buffer areas are also for conservation. But buffer areas are mainly for shock absorbing of any activity to prevent the core areas.
Good, yes. And last, we practice agroforestry
Yes.
and social forestry.
Yes, sir.
And we can produce produce in the agroforestry.
Yes.
But we are not promoting it in a much better way. What we should do?
Sir, government is trying to promote agroforestry as well there is one national agroforestry policy of 2014. And in fact, I believe that the removal of bamboos from the definition of trees in non-forest areas, this has also given impetus to agroforestry after 2017 amendment. But still, there is lack of awareness among the farmers, and there is little bit of inertia because changing of cropping pattern is very risky for any farmer. So he will require much more convincing for that to adopt agroforestry practice instead of conventional croppings.
So Kartikey, you are from Mandsaur.
Yes, sir.
A few years back, there was an incident in Mandsaur wherein some farmers were shot by the police
Yes, sir.
due to some of their demands related to agriculture.
Yes, sir.
So what were those demands, and what is the present status of those issues?
Sir, at that particular year, the production of agricultural crops was very high, and due to that, the prices declined. So they were demanding a much higher price from the government. At the same time, if we consider opium farmers also, they were asking for quick procurement. There were some delays in procurement as well, and as prices were down, so there was some agitation by the farmers. So, but unfortunately, sir, it was according to district magistrate report, it was hijacked by some anti-social elements, and this led to the conflict with the CRPF, which was deployed there, and it led to killing of the farmers.
Okay, fine. So, Kartikey, you must be knowing that the first river interlinking project of India Ken Betwa project.
Yes, sir.
It involves submergence of of quite some area of the Panna Tiger Reserve. It was raised while reviewing the project also. What do you understand of the issue? Have the concerns been addressed, because the government of India has now decided to go ahead with the project? So what is your understanding about the issues being faced there?
Yes, sir. So my understanding is that the interlinking project, it is very important for Bundelkhand region because it is a very dry region, and it will provide water, and around 35,000 hectares irrigation will be provided by the project. But unfortunately, it will definitely lead to submergence of part of Panna Tiger Reserves, and it is also an area having a number of tigers also. But as far as my discussion with some of the forest officer goes, the area which will be submerged will be hardly 10% of the Panna Tiger Reserve. And when the activity will start, then it will take around 5 to 10 years minimum to go about with the project. So by that time, the forest department can coordinate, and the animals, the tigers and other animals, because of their nature, they will be shifting to some other areas also. Sir, in our country, we have our own requirements of development, and especially water scarcity is a major issue. So in that case, we need to make a balance and make sure that the damage to environment is minimum.
Okay, fine. Are you aware about whether environmental impact assessment has been done for the project or not?
Sir, environmental impact assessment notification is there from 2006. But sir, exactly its implementation, as far as my knowledge goes, is not up to the mark. But exact data I can't give you, sir.
Under what law is EIA done?
Sir, Environmental Protection Act 1986.
Okay, fine. You are working in NABARD,
Yes, sir.
right? What is the main role of NABARD? Is it financing or refinancing?
Yes, sir. So the role of NABARD is both financing and refinancing. And in fact, the role of NABARD is in 3 categories: developmental, financing and supervisory. So in financing, if we talk about, then NABARD also directly finances to state government under Rural Infrastructure Development Fund, and also some major funds like Climate Change Fund, Adaptation Fund are housed in NABARD. Okay. And refinancing facility is being provided to state cooperative banks, regional rural banks, so that they can finance to lower branches.
Okay. NABARD also works with a lot of self-help groups, SHGs.
Yes, sir.
What is the status of SHGs in Madhya Pradesh?
Yes,
are
sir.
they quite prevalent, or there are a few SHGs? What is the status?
Sir, the status of SHGs in present time Madhya Pradesh, it is very good if we consider the account opening aspect of SHGs.
Okay.
Exact number I am not aware, but large number of SHGs exist in the state. My own district, because I am working in district, my own district has around 2,000 SHGs, and every one of them is have bank account. So and also now NRLM, National Rural Livelihood Mission, has taken over all the SHGs, whether it is being formed by NABARD or any other organization.
Okay.
So definitely we are working in positive direction, but the main problem is that even if account opening is there, credit linkage is not up to the mark, and SHGs are not able to move to the next step of entrepreneurship in Madhya Pradesh.
Okay, okay. So can you tell me what is the forest cover percentage of MP?
Sir, MP, it is 25.14%.
25.14. Okay, fine. Kartikey, there is a building in Bhopal, which was the earlier legislative assembly also. Yes. It was named after Lord Minto. Earlier it was named after Lord Minto. Now its name has been changed. So what do you think, that should it have been done, or we should have continued with the earlier name, because it is a heritage building? So do you think we should have continued with the previous name?
Sir, what I believe is that anything which signifies exploitation, we should not promote that. Even if building was made by the British government, their sole interest was exploitation of the country. So if the name is changed by the government, so I completely agree with it.
That's good. You also do weight training in gym?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Recently, we have seen that some of the actors like Siddharth Shukla and Puneet Rajkumar,
Yes, sir.
they died under some circumstances which were linked to probably their workout practices, or they were doing too much of gym training. What is your take on this issue? Why these incidents happen?
So according to my take and research, sir, it is exactly very difficult to pinpoint an exact reason for, especially for heart disease. But as far as I know and whatever knowledge I have, weight training in fact is a very good tool to prevent such incidents in future. And because of the weight training, sometimes what happens is that mainly in show business, many of the celebrities, they go into some other direction, like they start taking performance enhancing drugs, which we also call steroids. So they have definitely a very bad impact on our heart. But if we do it in sustainable way with proper diet, then weight training is in fact beneficial for health.
Okay. There is one lift called as deadlift.
Yes, sir.
Why it is called as deadlift? In the gym, normally people practice that lift. It is called as deadlift. Why it is called that?
Sir, as far as I am aware, I am not very sure. But because we are simply lifting a dead mass from the floor,
Okay.
which is not moving, we call dead weight live weight. So it is dead weight we are lifting, and it is called, that's why deadlift.
Okay. Thanks, Kartikey.
So Kartikey, right? You are from IIT Kanpur,
Yes, sir.
and we have seen a great proliferation of IITs in recent times.
yes.
Do you think it has diluted the brand IIT?
Sir, no, sir. Sir, personally, I believe that in our country, we have huge population. And our population, our demographic dividend is good. We have large number of youth between 15 to 30. And many of the youth are quite talented. So if we keep the number of IITs limited, then IITs will become elite institute. And this is not our goal. Our goal is that we tap into maximum potential of the country. And having more IITs will allow many such students who could not otherwise qualify because less number of seats, but they can perform very well in the institute.
So there was earlier BHU Engineering College.
Yes.
We just changed its name. We made it IIT BHU.
Yes.
So how does it increase the number of seats?
Sir, I will address this question in two parts. First of all, I believe that there are many new IITs also coming up, like IIT Hyderabad, IIT Indore. And if we talk about BHU, it has always maintained its status of academic excellence like IITs. In fact, the selection was on the basis of IIT JEE only. Only formally the name change was done in 2012 or 13, I believe.
So does the IIT tag is only a tag and brand enhancement, or does it bring any tangible benefits also?
Sir, it does bring some tangible benefits because IITs are given some autonomy in their governance and their functioning and course design. So these benefits will be given to the institute.
Okay. You would have heard about stress and strain, have you?
Yes, sir.
Then there are stress and strains in life, and then there are stress and strains in material.
Yes, sir.
Can you differentiate between the two?
In life and in material, or simply stress and strain?
Stress and strain in life and in materials.
Okay, sir. Sir, in material, it is completely in physical terms, like change in the particular parameter divided by the, for example, delta L upon L, we call it strain. And if we consider life, then it is much more psychological and mental, because whatever stress we suffer, then according to it, either we yield to that stress or we adapt to that stress in life. Adaptation is very important, sir.
Okay. So you have been working with NABARD, and every year in every budget, governments have a tendency to announce an increasingly larger amount of agricultural finance. In fact, the last figure I remember is more than 10 lakh crore rupees. And in spite of that, the proportion of money lenders in agri-finance continues to be more than 30%. Why do you think it persists?
Sir, I would like to say that gradually the number of money lenders in fact have decreased by the efforts taken by the government. Like most of the farmers, in fact, they are able to get short-term credit at least through KCC. But even after that, the problem persists because that money lenders actually they don't require any formalities and they give loans very quickly. So whenever farmer is under stress due to certain for example, health problem of a family member or marriage function is required, so for personal reasons, banks generally they deny giving the loans and money lenders are the first to give to them.
Recently, I was reading about a concept of decentralized finance. Have you heard about it?
Sorry, I have not read about it specifically, but
You can take a guess.
yes, I can take a guess on this.
Please.
Sir, decentralized finance, I believe, is that financing at the grassroots level by institutes at the grassroots level themselves. For example, SHGs can be a very good example.
Okay. What is peer-to-peer lending?
Sir, peer-to-peer lending is, sir, I am not able to define it exactly, sir, but it is a non-banking financial mechanism for person-to-person lending on the basis of certain contract between the two people only.
Okay. Can you tell me how do we measure poverty?
Sir, we measure poverty through various parameters. In India, we measure simply on the basis of the expenditure per day. And also, we can use multidimensional poverty index, which focus on deprivations.
Recently, there was a controversy. According to some estimates, it was said that we have eliminated poverty from India. Absolute poverty has been eliminated.
Sorry, sir, I am not able to recall that instance.
That's okay. My final question.
Yes.
Name the World Heritage Sites in Madhya Pradesh.
World Heritage Sites. So, Sanchi Stupa is there, Khajuraho temples, and Bhimbetka paintings.